You already know what you want, and believe it or not, you have everything that it takes to succeed. But sometimes there's a little twist in your mind that slows the process down and stops you from getting to your actual dream goal. But today, you're gonna find exactly what it is and get back on track of the most successful human being that is within you. Hello, Divas, and welcome to South Savage Podcast, where we talk about self-development, mindset, and basically how to bake the dream version of yourself. And if you're an emotional and sensitive baddie who wants to run the world, I'm here for you. You guys don't even know how excited I was for this episode because, I remember myself being just kind of like, oh, well, but what am I supposed to do? I don't trust myself. I don't know. I don't feel enough. And here I am, feeling like a person who is worthy of success, but also as someone who walked the path. And sometimes I do still walk the path because, well, life is one big journey also when it comes to success and stepping into the unknown and so on. But I finally feel like a person who can actually talk about it and who can give you a really great advice that I wish I knew when I really wanted to achieve things. But before we're gonna start with the tips, you might be asking yourself, but is lying actually good? Because society did teach us that we should not be lying because it's bad. And generally speaking, yes, it's bad. If you're saying to a person something that is not true, of course lying is bad. But if you're lying to yourself in order to succeed, that's something different. If you're lying to yourself in the service of personal growth, in order to get whatever you desire, that's actually you switching the mindset, changing the things within your mind, and getting rid of the thoughts and patterns that do not serve you anymore. We're gonna talk here a little bit about neuroscience. The thing is, your mind has two main parts: conscious mind and subconscious mind. Your conscious mind contains your thoughts, your desires, what you want. It's the mind that will plant the seed and starts watering it. Meanwhile, your subconscious mind is the autopilot, it's the part that rules the habits, and it contains your main beliefs. Working with your conscious mind is actually quite easy. It's just like you're gonna say something and your conscious mind is just like, oh yeah, I actually like it, let's do it. Meanwhile, your subconscious mind, which is by the way 90% of your mind, conscious mind is only 10%, is just gonna be like, oh, well, what the hell is that? Why do I think this is gonna work out? It's the stubborn mind, if I'm gonna say it in this way. In order to change your subconscious mind, it needs repetition. I'm gonna give you guys my personal example. In this example, I'm gonna be conscious mind and my mom is gonna be subconscious mind. I know that it sounds low-key strange, but stick with me. I remember myself when I was 14, I already knew that I want to be studying abroad. So I just started looking at different universities, also in different countries, just to kind of know where I would like to go. And I was deciding between Sweden and Denmark, ended up with Denmark. And I was just like, oh my god, that's so cool. That's so exciting. Like moving, living in Denmark and studying there, that would be so awesome. As I said with the conscious mind, it was just like, oh my god, yeah, I love this. Let's do it. And when I came with this idea to my mom was just like, no, this is not possible. Like, we cannot afford that. This is not possible. Also, what about healthcare? Also, what about this? And what about that? That's literally how subconscious mind works. It's gonna be questioning you sometimes. It's just gonna be like, hell nah, that's not how it works. Hell no, like, I don't see why this should work. But what I did as a 14-year-old kid who didn't want to be staying in their home country, I started looking for so many ways how to actually show my mom, the subconscious mind, that it can work and that I can go there and that we can solve it out and so on and so on. So I was looking for the different meetings where I could meet the people who were studying there. Also, I was searching all the information. I was looking for, the ways how I can get the accommodation and so on. A lot of error and trials, and with a lot of repeating effort, I convinced my mom that this is possible. And guess what happened when I was 19? I moved to Denmark. This is kind of the way how your subconscious mind works. If you deeply believe within yourself that you're not enough, that you don't deserve this, that you don't deserve that, you need to be repeating and telling yourself that you're capable to do the things, that you deserve this, that you deserve that. And action can be really helpful. Like anytime when you're gonna be doing something towards your goals, pursuing the stuff, always say yourself, I am enough, I am capable to do this, because that's what I'm doing right now. If I was not capable to do that, I would not pick up the phone and start recording a video. If I did not deserve it, I would not have it in my mind. So I'm gonna do it anyway because I deserve that. Repeating, not only through words but also through action, is gonna help you change the unhealthy patterns within your subconscious mind. And again, since subconscious mind runs 90% of the stuff within our mind, it's really important to learn how to work with that. You have to keep feeding the new belief until you start actually believing it. And yes, it can take time. And yes, it's gonna test your patience. Saying this from my own experience, I'm very, very impatient person, but it's so worthy. So if we go back to the question, isn't lying bad? Now you know the answer. Also with the explanation. So right now, we should go for the tips. Let's do it. And the first thing is, your mind, specifically your subconscious mind, doesn't know what is real and what is actually not. That's the reason why so many people on social media are telling you be delusional, because your mind doesn't know what's real and what is not. And your subconscious mind will literally rule your daily routine, because what we said previously, subconscious mind rules over your habits and also what you deeply believe. So if you believe that you're not enough to be making, let's say, 10k of dollars per month, you're not gonna be taking the action because you don't believe in it. But if you say to yourself that I am enough and I am capable and I deserve more than 10k of dollars per month, you're gonna take the action. At the beginning, if we still talk about this case, it's gonna be very uncomfortable because your mind believes that you're not enough to be making that amount of money. So you need to be convincing consciously your mind that you are more than enough. So you go every single day and you take the action, even if it's like small action, let's say planning, learning more about finances, and so on and so on. You need to show your subconscious mind through action and always affirming that, hey, this can be possible for us, that it can work out through affirmation and through action to your subconscious mind, that this is possible. And slowly your subconscious mind is going to be like, hell, yeah, it is actually possible. Why not? Again, it may take time, but it doesn't mean that it's impossible, Do whatever you want to with this information. Now we're gonna go to the second point, taking small steps every day. I see so many people just, jumping into that fully, which I'm not saying that it's a wrong choice, but from my own personal experience and also from what I've seen around myself, is that many times when people don't have the experience, going and stepping into the unknown fully, it's gonna shake up their nervous system, and also they're never gonna do it again because their body and their mind got into such a big shock that they just don't want to experience that again. And it makes sense, but at the same time, that's the reason why I'm telling you it's better to take smaller steps every day. I'm gonna give you an example. Imagine yourself that you've never been swimming in your entire life. You don't know how to swim, and now a person asks you like, hey, we can go swimming together to the ocean, but you need to be swimming by yourself because the other person wants to enjoy the ocean and wants to be swimming by themselves. In this case, you would have so much courage to actually go to the ocean and to swim, to try swimming. But maybe you would get into a little bit deeper water. You would get such a shock in the way that like, oh my god, I cannot touch the ground. Oh my god, like there's no one to help me. Oh my god, like what am I supposed to do? I think I'm gonna die. That's literally the same. I luckily forgot that I didn't charge this little microphone for like ages. That's the reason why I have cable in it right now, if you were wondering. Anyways, I'm just gonna finish the second tip. If you're just not giving yourself the space to be taking the small steps, your nervous system is gonna get a shock in the way that you may not want to try ever again. That's the reason why I'm highlighting the small steps so much, because been there, done that. So with other people as well, where they had such a big potential, but since they experienced a shock in it by fully and completely stepping into the unknown in that certain sphere, they did not want to try again because they really got a big shock from life that they were just like, oh well, I cannot do this anymore. It's just not meant for me. And by taking the small steps, I'm not saying that you're not gonna be feeling the discomfort. You will, but you will also notice that it's way more manageable and easier to get through the uncomfort and to extend your comfort zone than by jumping into it fully. As I've explained it with the swimming example, I believe that you know what I'm trying to say. And also another thing, by taking the small steps, your journey is just gonna be a little bit more interesting. You're gonna enjoy the goal, you're gonna enjoy the result when you get there, but also you will appreciate all the things that you had to overcome when you were on the journey. You will appreciate the things and all the experiences and circumstances that you had on your journey, because that's what made you the person who could get the goal and who could succeed in the way as you wanted to succeed. Now we're gonna be talking about perfectionism, and I'm gonna be honest with you, perfectionism is low-key a bitch. If you're someone who struggles with perfectionism, this part is for you, and I'm gonna read something to you as well. If you didn't know what is perfectionism, now you will know. Perfectionism is characterized by high standards, rigid expectations, and specific ideas about how to achieve a desired outcome, making things flawless and correct. The question right now is, what is flawless and what is correct? It's a little bit philosophical, but usually people cannot fully answer that. Either I can, like, what is right, what is wrong, unless we talk about, like, you know, this kind of more serious stuff. Obviously, in that case, you know what is right and what is wrong. But speaking of perfectionism, what is perfect in your eyes? Where that perfectionism is coming from? And that's another point that I'm gonna read to you. Root of perfectionism, that is coming from Cornell University. My bad. Perfectionism is a complex trait with deep-rooted causes, often stemming from early childhood experiences, personality traits, societal influences, and insecurity. Perfectionism can also make your self-worth particularly vulnerable as not reaching the possibly unachievable standards, and it leads to subconscious self-disbelief and failure. So right now I'm gonna ask you, is the perfectionism rooted within you based on some childhood or teenage experience, or you've read something in a magazine, or you saw something on social media where you might be just like, oh my god, I am not perfect? And also perfectionism is usually connected to the feeling of not being enough, so you're trying to be perfect and perfect and perfect, but then you actually realize that you cannot reach the perfectionism because you fully cannot even explain what it is. I remember when I was reading this for the first time, I do have an exact moment, an exact memory how the perfectionism got rooted within me when I was a kid. I was like 8 or 9 and I got B grade from my English exam, minding you that I was straight A student when it comes to English lessons when I was a kid. And I remember showing this to one of my parents, and the first question that I got was like, why you haven't got an A? I talked to my parent a couple of years after that it did not feel right, and this was definitely not supposed to be said in the moment. And even though it was taken as a joke, me as a kid, I did not take it as a joke. And based on this experience, the perfectionism got rooted within me. Those can be really small things, how perfectionism can get into and be like a little parasite within you, but perfectionism is doing the only favor, which is not even a favor, and it's stopping you from actually getting what you want. And it carries those effects. It leads you to no taking action. This one is gonna be hard to swallow, but it makes you boring. If you're trying to be perfect, you're literally escaping and trying to get away from your authentic and real self, because your authentic self is not perfect. That's a human being nature. We are not perfect, and we never ever can be perfect. That's the way how I saw it with myself, how I also saw with other people when they were trying to be perfect. They were not themselves, and also they were getting so sad because those standards they were putting on themselves, that pressure that was coming from perfectionism was dimming their light. So the conclusion of this point is that you should be always trying to do your best, but not to be perfect. When you're trying to do your best, that means that you're also open to making mistakes. You are also open to see what needs to be improved for the next time. You are okay to be taking the small steps when it comes to the improvement. Here we go with the second point. Everything is interconnected. And when you set this mindset of you wanting to be getting better and better and better every single time, it will also make you consistent. It's not gonna stop you like the perfectionism. And also, you're supposed to have fun. If you're trying to be perfect, many times you're just getting serious and you're like, oh well, this is not done, I haven't fully completed this, this is not reaching the standard that I set for myself, and it's taking away the joy that you should have from that. So a little reminder, you should have fun. Another point is connected to your identity. We're gonna be talking about identity shift. Because, of course, the successful version of yourself thinks in a different way than your current self, right? So, in order to have the successful mindset, you need to analyze your old one first. And with this point, you're also gonna get a little homework from me. Let me know, guys, if you would like to be getting homeworks in every single podcast videos. I used to be doing it in the past, but I don't know if it's like worthy to be mentioning in every single podcast episode. So let me guys know if you would like to have the homework in every single episode, so then you can just have a little bit more improvement when you're offline. So firstly, you're gonna take a paper. On one side, you're gonna make a circle, and that's gonna be your old mind. On the other part of that paper, you're gonna do a second circle, and that's gonna be your new mind. If you're someone more artistic, you can just make the actual drawing of the brain. But me personally, I'm not the person. I'm trying to keep it simple. I'm gonna visualize it in my mind, and I'm just gonna do the circles. So in this homework, you can also do the circles. But again, if you're someone artistic, do it in your own way. In the first circle, aka your old mind, you're gonna put all the things that your mind is saying daily and be completely honest with yourself, from the good things to bad things, everything what you find in your mind. And to the second circle, you're gonna write everything what is your successful self is saying, what they're thinking, what they believe in. I'm gonna put it here on the screen so you can see it. For those who are listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, you're gonna find it on a YouTube video, so come to my channel and see it. But by that, you're gonna see your old mind and your new mind. If you find something useful in your old mind, which can be for sure, you can put it into the second mind, the second circle, aka your successful mind as well. And this is gonna give you the perspective what you need to work on. You can even highlight the things that are bothering you in your current mind and slowly start working with that. How can we change that? How can I transform this belief? How can I get rid of this thought? Draw it, write it on the paper. It's gonna help you so much. Let yourself transform step by step. It is okay to be taking time, because your subconscious mind, it requires the time to get changed, to fully transform it. So if it's gonna take a little bit of time, that's more than okay, as long as you're giving yourself the space to improve and to be okay with trying, you're on the right path. Another point, very important point, that will help you with consistency is devotion. If you're trying to be disciplined and be pushing yourself through it, that consistency is gonna get away very fast. And I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you what's the difference between discipline and devotion, and then you're gonna understand why devotion is so important, and way more important than discipline. I'm gonna be reading from my laptop again because all the information is right there. Discipline is showing up even when you don't want to. It's rule-based, it's structural. It's basically, I do this regardless of how I feel. It's almost mechanical. The problem with pure discipline is it can feel like punishment. You're forcing yourself, which creates resistance over time. That's what I said at the beginning with the discipline. The consistency within your journey, that consistency can be there, but the question is, for how long you're gonna be consistent. Meanwhile, this is what devotion means. Devotion is showing up because you're deeply connected to why. It's emotional, it's identity based, it's this is who I am, not just what I do. And discipline is automatic because you connect to your why. Devotion already includes the discipline, but to you it doesn't seem in that way because you're doing it automatically. You have the love, you have the reason why you want to do it, and that's where the devotion is created. When you devote to the success that you actually want to achieve, that let's say that you want to make those 10k of dollars per month, if you devote to this, if you know your why, if you know why you're doing that, you're gonna be enjoying the journey, you're gonna be consistent, and you're gonna get there. There is no reason why you should not get to that station because you are devoted to it and you know your why. Which is getting me to another reason. You need to set your why. If there's gonna be any doubt and you're just gonna be like, oh well, I don't see the reason why I should be pursuing this anymore. If you don't have the why, it's gonna be really hard for you to pull back and to be devoted to the success. Speaking of my favorite 10K of dollars per month, ask yourself, why do you want to make those 10K per month? In this case, it could be like, I want to have my personal freedom and I'm gonna offer something to the world that is gonna help them to achieve something. So now the question is, what's your why when it comes to this success? Why do you want to succeed? What's your why? Because if you have your why, you have the base for everything. For devotion, for the reason why you should be stepping slowly into the unknown. You have the reason why you should be consistent with the journey. Your why is literally the glue that is gonna stick everything together. And if you have your why, there's no way of you not getting the thing that you want. You're gonna be successful. You're gonna be willingly lying to yourself in order to succeed, because you're gonna have the vision and you're gonna know why you're doing that. And last point, do not give up. Don't care what other people say. Don't care about what if this, what if that. Just go and pursue whatever you want to. Go and pursue and get the things. And also, if you know your why, you're not gonna give up, because that's gonna be your fuel. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you found this video, this episode interesting, don't forget to like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you would like to hear about something, let me know in the comments. Otherwise, I'm gonna see you next week with the next episode. Bye.